Yo, what it do, y'all? It is K1 Era here, and today I'm finna take y'all on a ride Stone Cold style. So we have every single WWE champion in the history of the WWE, and they're all about to get stunned by Stone Cold Steve Austin. So this will also be a little history trip for you guys. But first up, we got Buddy Rogers. Buddy Rogers' reign started April 11th, 1963, the first ever WWE champion, and this was actually the WWF. And as you guys may be able to see, is one of Ric Flair's biggest inspirations. Even his name is the Nature Boy, and the robe, and even the style of wrestling. Nature Boy did it. That's his guy. And he'll say it ain't no secret, but he had to get stunned right there. Next up, we got Bruno Sammartino. Bruno Sammartino's reign started March 17th, and he was actually beat Rogers because Rogers had heart problems, and he squashed him because they didn't want to have him do too much. And Bruno reigned for 2,803 days, and he was the first megastar of wrestling, pretty much. But Bruno, I'm sorry, you got to catch this stunner too. Our next champion, Ivan Koloff. Ivan Koloff was the first champion from, quotes, Russia. Was actually from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And he later tagged and also mentored Nikita Koloff. And y'all, Nikita wasn't from Russia either. Now, don't get me wrong, they was dope as ever. You know, Russian sickle, all that. But Nikita's name is Nelson. And Nelson is from Minnesota. But it's fine, because he got to hold this stunner. So, you know, it's nothing personal. It don't have nothing to do with your nationality. But you got to hold that. Next up, we have Pedro Morales. And Pedro Morales was the first Latino and first Puerto Rican champion in the promotion, who had a nice title reign himself at 1,027 days straight. Pedro was dropping people. But Pedro is about to get dropped. He's on his way out there right now. This fool, look at it. That fool ran up in there. What you think was gonna happen? Stone Cold stunner for Pedro Morales. I'm sorry, Pedro, but you definitely made history being the first Puerto Rican champion. But now we have Stan the Man Stasiak. Stasiak held the title for just 9 days after beating Morales, and he was only a transitional title holder. But WWF wanted like a more popular champion, but they did not want Morales to lose to a face. Therefore, his reign was short. He was a temporary solution. I think I just wanted to punch on him a little bit for being a temporary solution. That's why he got. Oh boy, this fool done came back. Bruno is back, y'all, because Bruno won it again. And in history, that's great. But for right now, it's not. He was the first ever two-time champion in history, though, and this reign lasted for forever. 1,237 days. And it feels like for the 1,237th time, I'm gonna stun him. And that's how it's gonna be if you keep winning. Hold that, Bruno. But you are making history steadily. Superstar Billy Graham, though, he revolutionized the physique in pro wrestling and promos, and he reigned for almost a year at 296 days. He campaigned to replace Dusty Rhodes after the Dream had passed away, which is quite noble of him. But anyway, I need you to hold that. Hold them too, both of them. Both of them, Billy. But next we have Bob Backlund. And Bob Backlund had a little hair on his head for this one, you know. He had a little hair on his head. He was the first celebrated amateur wrestler to win promotional gold. Now, this title reign began because he beat Billy Graham, but the story was he beat Billy Graham, but his foot was actually on the rope when he pinned him, and he wasn't even doing the crossface chicken wing yet. He was hit him with an atomic drop. But next up, we have the legendary Antonio Inoki, a pioneer in Japanese pro wrestling and combat sports, and he faced Muhammad Ali in the first high-profile MMA concept bout. And did y'all know he sold 51.5% of his stake to Ukes, the very same Ukes that developed a lot of WWE games in the past? For that, you get a stunner, because Stone Cold don't agree with that decision financially. Maybe. I don't know. Stone Cold actually don't like anybody right now. Another stunner. But Bob Backlund is back. Bob Backlund, this is his second reign, and he lost his title to Inoki in Japan, but it doesn't consider it a switch. I'm pretty much assuming because of the location. He was just awarded the title again, though, after a Texas Death Match with Greg Valentine. And for this one, he was the champion for forever, ever. I'm talking about 2,135 days. Stone Cold said, that's too long. Stunner for you. Hit your head on the turnbuckles, lay down, and hold all this. Appreciate it. Don't touch it again, Bob. Next, though, we got the Iron Sheik. The Iron Sheik. Sheik was one of the WWF's great early heels, and Sheik is quite the personality on social media, and despite his controversial things that he may say or do, he still maintains that polarizing presence. He reigned just for 28 days as a bridge/transitional champion, kind of like Stan the Man Stasiak. But Sheik, nonetheless, his legacy in wrestling was quite impressive. But guess who cares about that? Not Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Stone Cold took him to a different spot out here. We done stunned him on top of scaffold. But next up, we got somebody we all know, somebody we all love. Hulk Hogan. He was the first, and I know I said Bruno was the megastar first, but no. Hulk Hogan took this thing to another level, especially when he adopted that strongman persona. He like revolutionized pro wrestling, and this was his first reign as the WWE champion, and he was the champion for 1,474 days. It almost felt like if you won, unless your name was Stan or something, you get this title for multiple years at a time. But this also means if you win a championship, you get to get stunned multiple times. Next up, though, we got the 8th wonder of the world, Andre the Giant. He beat Hulk Hogan when referee Earl Hebner, who was bribed by Ted DiBiase. And afterwards, when Andre won, he simply took the title and just gifted it to Ted. Here you go, Ted. You get a title. So Andre actually never has any, he doesn't have a reign because he had it for a day. He also got this fist in his face and a stunner. Take it home with you. You should have held the belt. Raise my hand up in the air. But yes, he gave it to this man, Ted DiBiase. Ted DiBiase held the belt for just a couple of days because he was stripped by the WWF president, and because they just felt like it just wasn't working. It wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. So because of that, Stone Cold kicks him in his stomach and drops his chin on his shoulder like the rest of everybody else. Should have held it. You should have figured out, made negotiations with the president. Do something, Ted, because this ain't it. But here comes the Macho Man for his first time, Randy Savage. He won this title at WrestleMania, and he is arguably the greatest mic worker in the history of wrestling. I mean, you know, cream of the crop. We all know what that's about. And did y'all know he also played minor league baseball? I didn't know that until I started doing this. That was very interesting. The Macho Man is very versatile. You know what else the Macho Man is, though? He's slightly beat up and he is slightly stunned. I don't really care about many of your accolades, so much so to the point where I'm going to stun you again. Macho Man, I love you, but I just felt that we had to set the record straight. Next up, we got Hulk Hogan's second reign, though, which started at WrestleMania 25. He was a two-time champion in promotional history, and his second reign was 364 days, just 1 day short of a year. I almost felt like you might as well gave it to him. Like, at that point, just let me go my one more day. Like, I will turn it into the front office that morning. Just let me get my 1 day. But nonetheless, he's stunned. Next up, we got Ultimate Warrior, though. And Ultimate Warrior's first reign was at WrestleMania 6. And I gotta run up on that boy. Where you going? Where you going? Stunner for the Ultimate Warrior. When I tell y'all, Ultimate Warrior, don't nobody run as fast as Ultimate Warrior during his entrance. I'm trying to tell you, like, nobody do. This fool ran 3,000 miles per hour. Look at him. Macho Man elbow for the Ultimate Warrior. Get up one more time, though. Just because you trying to act the fool running around all stupid and stuff. Kicking your stomach. Chin on my shoulder. Thank you. Next. Hold that. Because this fool done lost his mind. He just ran a full flat to the ring. Next up, though, we have Sergeant Slaughter. And WWF took advantage of the major patriotism angles in the country, especially around that time. And it only lasted 64 days, but he was a really big heel during this time. But guess what? I don't care. Neither does Stone Cold. Stone Cold ran up on this boy in the dark and slapped the... Did he slap the U.S. flag out his head? That was beyond disrespectful, Stone. Come on, Steve. Stun that boy Sergeant Slaughter. He didn't care about anything he was on. But next up, we have Hulk Hogan again. And y'all know this is Hulk Hogan's time. We done seen Hulk Hogan a lot just in this short period of time. This is his third reign. It was at WrestleMania 7. Of course, fairly lengthy. Guess who cares, though? Nobody. Clothesline out of the ring. And look, we tried to stun him, but he wasn't going for it. He tried to run away. You can't get away from Stone Cold Steve Austin. Get up again. I felt like you trying to run away from me is simply disobedient. Stunner again to Hulk Hogan for his third time. And next up, we have his first WWE title reign, which was at Survivor Series of 91, arguably the greatest persona / gimmick in the history of wrestling. We have the Undertaker. Look at him. This is the time where he was wearing, the tie, and his face was like pale white, and he had Paul Bearer with him. He was a beast, and he was freakishly athletic at this time. His athleticism is actually kind of underrated in my opinion. Nonetheless, he's holding a stunner in a steel cage. We had to make it a little special for you first. Welcome to the club. Next up, we have Hulk Hogan again. And he made history again by becoming the first man to win the title 4 times. And he beat the Undertaker in a pretty crazy, eventful match. He gets stunned through the table. Look at Corey looking over like, what is going on? I done seen this man come up and stun anybody that I know, and this ain't the end, because Rick's here. Rick's first reign was at the Royal Rumble, and Rick had been, of course, world champions in other promotions. Rick held the big gold belt a lot. This is his first time getting the WWE belt, and did he just get stunned on top of a Hell in a Cell? What is going on? I mean, everybody gets stunned everywhere. It don't matter, wherever I catch you. Randy Savage is next, though, and this is his second reign, and it was at WrestleMania 8. And this is the Macho King era. But here comes Stone Cold out the lights. He ran up in front of him and said, "Hey, Randy." No, wait, he didn't let him stun him. Hold on, and then Randy fought back. He's one of the first people to fight back. Disrespectful. Stunner to you. I wanted the glasses to pop off of his face, but they didn't. They stayed on. He got some real sturdy glasses. He stunned the fool with his glasses and hat stayed on. That's some very tight clothes. But Ric Flair is back for his second reign, and he had a really bitter feud with Macho Man during this time. It was back and forth, and Ric Flair came back and took it again, and we stunned Ric Flair in the parking lot. Soon as he got out of one of them fancy cars and got dressed, he got the kick to the stomach and the stunner. Next up is Bret Hart, and this was at a house show, and he had primarily been a tag team wrestler, but this is when we breaking off into, Bret doing everything that Bret did, winning all these titles, breaking off from Neidhart and becoming the truly legendary Bret Hart that we know today. But nobody really cares. Hitman has been hit. Let me talk to you about it too. In my jacket. Stunned him in the jacket. Yokozuna's big butt is his first reign, and this is during that crazy Bret Hart feud. But his reign, guys, didn't even last a day. Like, what? It didn't even last a full day. But this man, nonetheless, is one of the most impressive and intimidating wrestlers in WWE history. I remember being terrified of Yokozuna when I was a little kid. I mean, absolutely terrified. Kick to the stomach, stunner to Yokozuna, and he lays out in the middle of the ring. And when Yokozuna laid out, it's so crazy looking because he just big as ever. It just looked different and funny when he dropped. But Hulk Hogan's 5th title reign came. And this is why Yokozuna had the title for only a day. An impromptu match was granted to Hogan after Yokozuna beat Bret Hart. And Hulk Hogan beat Yokozuna right then and there. But Yokozuna's 2nd reign came when he got his first legit run with the title and he beat Hulk Hogan. And this reign lasted for 280 days. He said he had to get his get back. That was some trash. Absolute trash. But Yokozuna did, like I said, had a nice reign right there with the 280 days. And Stone Cold has stunned him once, not once, but twice. But twice. I mean, was in celebration of 2 reigns? That's how Stone Cold celebrates. The Hitman is back, and he has finally beaten Yokozuna to start his 2nd title run. And he won with Roddy Piper as the special guest referee. And he's giving Stone Cold a hard time. But Stone Cold don't do hard times. Not for long, at least. He laid that boy out right next to the tag team championship that he came to the ring with. Why you coming to the ring with that? That ain't what we talking about. But hey, Bob Backlund's back for his 3rd title reign. And he's back and not the same guy. Bob Backlund came back doing weird stuff. This was when the crossface chicken wing started because he beat Bret Hart in a submissions only match. So of course, to win a submission only match, you would have to do a submission. Therefore, here comes the implementation of the crossface chicken wing. But he was not always like this. He came back just crazy. I'm talking about he came back some animalistic savage. That's the more out of control Bob Backlund that you see when they have the little reunions. That's the one that comes. Bob Backlund wasn't always like that. He used to just be a regular guy. And incoming the big boy, Diesel. Diesel's first title reign in 1994, and it was at a house show, and this was also the last time that the WWE Championship would change hands at a house show. He defeated Bob Backlund for the championship, and his reign lasted 358 days. Diesel held the title for almost a year, which was very impressive for Diesel, especially for his first reign. But Stone Cold stuns him nonetheless and sits on there and just looks upon him. Our next WWE champion here for his 3rd time, Bret the Hitman Hart, beat Diesel in a no DQ match, and this last reign lasted 133 days, which kind of led to his historic legendary feud with Shawn Michaels. And if you guys remember or didn't know, Diesel debuted in the WWF with Shawn Michaels as his bodyguard, so that was all kind of connected, and it just ended up kind of fleshing out from there and bridging to that feud. But Bret the Hitman Hart gets hit with a stunner nonetheless. But speaking of the devil, Shawn Michaels with his very first title reign. Welcome, Heartbreak Kid. Michaels won the title for the first time in arguably the greatest Iron Man match ever against Bret Hart. I mean, that Bret Hart, I feel like if you're a long time player of WWE 2K, it was in the showcases. That was a very fun showcase match to play. It was long, but it was fun. But it was also very amazing. Next up, we have Psycho Sid, and this is his first reign, and it started at Survivor Series. Sid was one of the biggest heels in the 90s. I mean, he was one of those like pure monsters, power bombing everybody. And this reign lasted 63 days, and he beat Shawn Michaels for the belt. Guess what though, Sid? Hold the stunner. Why? Because Stone Cold said so. I appreciate you for coming, Sid. Next up, we have the Heartbreak Kid again for his 2nd title reign that came at the Royal Rumble, and the 2nd reign came with a win over Sid in a rematch. Sid was the one who hit him with a camera this particular time, and the event took place in HBK's hometown of San Antonio, and it lasted just 25 days because he was forced to vacate the title due to an injury. But the Heartbreak Kid, obviously, as we know, was back later because of the legendary legacy that he has. But he gets hit with a stunner, and not just one. Get up. Stone Cold said get up. Stone Cold said get up. More chops. Stone Cold stunner to Shawn Michaels again. I'm a technician like that. Stone Cold went crazy. He you know he done lost if he starts stunning people in the jacket. That's how you know he really up. Bret Hart is back though with his 4th title, and he won it at In Your House. Not in house show, but In Your House. He won the title over Steve Austin, Undertaker, and Vader in a 4 quarters elimination match. Bret would only hold the title for literally just 1 day after this match though. But you see, Bret done got ran up on. Steve Austin came from the back and chased this fool down from the back, clotheslined him, and just beat him up, and then hit him with a Stone Cold stunner with his belt neatly in the middle of the ring. Why is it so neat? Like, it's in the he literally unbuckled it and buckled it and sat it right there, pretty like. Psycho Sid is back again, and this is his 2nd title reign, and he got this one on Raw. And this started after Bret Hart won his 4th title at In Your House. Like we said, Bret only had it for the 1 day, and Psycho Sid is the one who got it from him. And did he just try to rebel against the process? Hold that. We done ran laps around this boy because of that. Hold that too. The Undertaker is back though for his 2nd reign, and this is one of the first mentions, and actually no, not one of the first mention, the first mention of his undefeated streak at WrestleMania, and this time he beat Psycho Sid for the title. But look here, Mark, I'm gonna let you know something, Mark. We watched that entrance one time, and we ain't gonna never see it again. I'm talking about you coming out here with me. Come here. Matter of fact, you're a big butt. Launch off the stage. Hold on. I just want you to know how much we not doing that again. Stone Cold stunner, get up, because I don't feel like you understand. We not watching you walk to the ring for 3 hours again. Stone Cold stunner again. Let me tell you about yourself real quick too. Nonetheless, Bret the Hitman Hart is back again with his 5th title reign at SummerSlam, and Shawn Michaels served as a special guest referee for this match against The Undertaker, and Bret would have a solid little reign on him for 98 days, and Bret already knew what was up. Bret just froze and accepted his fate. He dropped his belt for me and just stood in front of me. He just said, do it. But I didn't admire his submission. I wanted him to put up just a little bit of a fight. I feel like he just gave up some dignity right there, so we gave him 2 more and told him hold the fingers. But you know, we love you, Bret. Shawn Michaels is back though for his 3rd title reign at Survivor Series, and this was the infamous Montreal Screwjob when Vince McMahon forced Bret Hart out as champion. We all know how crazy that storyline was. I remember my first time watching it, especially as a little kid. I didn't know what was going on. All I knew is that I felt like something happened that I didn't think was supposed to happen. But Steve Austin just tackled Shawn twice. Like, he didn't even ran up and do nothing. He flicked him off in his face before he stunned him. Crazy. Steve Austin is a menace right now. But our first time stunning the man himself, Stone Cold Steve Austin. This match was iconic because Mike Tyson was the special guest referee, and it was at the height of Austin's popularity. The Stone Cold gimmick was in full effect, and for the sake of the times, of course we got to do something special. Austin, throw yourself through a table. We love mirror matches. It's just beautiful. But next up we have Kane, and this is OG Kane. This is Rip the door off the cell Kane, and Kane beat Austin in a first blood match with the help of the Undertaker. Had Kane lost this match, he would have been set on fire. Guys, it's 1998. All kinds of stuff was happening. So yes, if Kane were to lose, they would have set him ablaze. But it's okay. But this match was so underrated because it bridged so many other storylines, iconic storylines at that. You got Taker Mankind, you got the Brothers of Destruction feud, and all types of Steve Austin feuds. I mean, Steve Austin feuded with everybody. He wanted to smoke with everybody. But Steve Austin is back. And not to stun somebody. He's actually here to get stunned. I mean, technically he is stunning somebody, but he's stunning his doggone self for his second reign. And he ran up on himself. You know how we usually jump up on the... No, don't do that. Don't do that. Get down. I'm the only one that can do that. I'm finna treat you like an imposter or something because you don't need to be around here. You see how we mercilessly, I can't say that word. Mercilessly, man, look, fool, y'all know what I'm trying to say. Beating the smoke out that boy. But here comes The Rock. The Rock is here for his first ever reign in the recreation of the Montreal Screwjob. Rock defeated Mankind in the finals of a Deadly Game tournament to win the vacant title. Then The Rock's first reign lasted 44 days as his feud with Mankind was launched in a historical stratosphere, one of the greatest feuds of the Attitude Era. Many legendary moments through this era, and I wish, you know, Rock, of course, he's that son right there. I wish there was like sale packages, because if Rock flipped all over the ring like he did when he fought Stone Cold, that would have been great. But the debut of Mankind in this series, Mrs. Foley's baby boy finally got his first run as the champion as he got the upper hand on The Rock in a no DQ match. Mankind never had a long run as champion, and this was his longest run at only 26 days. They ain't even let this fool, they ain't let Mankind, Cactus, Mick, or Dude hold this jump for not even a month. But we still love you, Mick. I feel like he should have got something for willing to launch himself off of any structure. But, you know, it's okay. Rock gets it back, though. The Rock, this is the time where Rock literally decimated Mankind with dozens of chair shots, mangling his face in real life in one of the literally most brutal matches in the history of wrestling. Because he's literally smashing his face with a chair repeatedly, kind of like how he just got that mud hole stomped in him, but just imagine a freaking chair. Mankind's back though. He's okay. He came back and won during halftime heat. Mankind defeated The Rock in an abbreviated match designed to be a broadcast during the halftime of the Super Bowl in an empty arena. And I told y'all, Mick don't get the whole thing for very long. Mankind had this belt for 20 doggone days. That's why we went ahead and made that quick, because I just felt bad. But The Rock is back for his third reign, and he gets this one on Raw. The Rock defeated Mankind in a memorable ladder match with Steve Austin on commentary to set up their first majority WrestleMania. Oh, not majority, y'all. I promise I can read. Major WrestleMania encounter. As he gets stunned right here, and this is when, you know, the legendary stunner happened, when he flipped all over the doggone ring. That's when that happened. But Steve Austin is back for his third title reign. The Austin Rock rivalry went to another level with this match. Austin would win with Mankind as the special guest referee, and Austin wastes no time on himself. I ain't never seen a man have such a grudge on his doggone self. He gets sidewalk slammed. I don't even know who's resisting anymore. I don't remember who is supposed to be doing. Oh, that's our guy. The one who just stunned, the one that looks like us, that's our guy. Do it again. I done lost track. One has a jacket and one don't. So the Undertaker is back though, and this is the Ministry of Darkness Undertaker. This happened at Over the Edge, and Undertaker would defeat Austin with Vince and Shane McMahon as special guest referees. But the real tragic story and moment from this event is that this is in fact the day that Owen Hart died in the tragic accident that he did as Blue Blazer. Rest in peace, Owen Hart. Rest in peace. But Undertaker, I told you, we not walking with you nowhere doggone else. In your jacket, lay right there. But Stone Cold's back, and we trying to take out them knees. Every time we try to take out them knees, though, we fall. How do that work? I ain't even wasting no time with you. You notice every time I know which one you is. Every time I see you, you getting stunned for however many I got, okay? Mankind's back though, and y'all know what that means. He got it for a hot second. This second was so hot that it was literally a second. Just one day Mankind had this. Mankind won the title in a triple threat match with Jesse Ventura as the special guest referee, and he won this at SummerSlam. I'm talking about this second was so hot. I don't even think Vince remember, and he didn't want the doggone made it. Mick might not even remember. Hold that, Mick. Let me talk to you. I'm just trying to tell him that he remember the time when he fell in love with the championship. Don't worry about it though, Mick. Triple H is here though, the start of the reign of terror. He got his first title on Raw. He captured the title with Chyna ringside. Triple H wrecking everyone with chair shots. Triple H's first title reign lasted 22 days. So his was, you know, kind of mankindish, but that was just his first one. Of course, we know what the game turned into. Now, Trips, let me talk to you real quick. Come up here and spit this water. No, you didn't want to spit no water. You don't want to spit no water. Okay, come here then, because I just wish that you would do what I told you to do, because then you wouldn't even have had to do that. Come here, I'm flying off of stuff. I'm so angry. Get up. Hold this. Move on. Talk to me later, because you just irritated me. Next up, though, guys, we got the chairman himself, Mr. McMahon. His first title reign and only title reign on SmackDown. Vince made himself the champion for the first and only time, and this was a significant moment that ignited the McMahon family feud, because it was the first time that the title had changed hands on SmackDown. And y'all already know how Steve felt about Vince. He don't feel him at all, so we put him through a table. Fitting, right? I thought so. Triple H gets his second reign though at Unforgiven in '99. Triple H regained the title in a six-pack challenge match with Big Show, the British Bulldog, Kane, Mankind, and The Rock, and Stone Cold was the special guest outside enforcer. Triple H's second title reign lasted 40 days, so Trips stuff just inched up. It kept going up, trickle, and just trickling up. We ran out here though. Paul, come spit this water. Right when you spit on, come here. You slippery. You got the stuff that fell on your back. As soon as you turn around though, come. All right, my bad. I'm still gonna beat your butt. That just didn't look as cool as I wanted it to. I wanted to beat your butt in the spotlight. Hold that though. Well, don't trust me. We're gonna make it look pretty next time. Next up, we got the Big Show though for his first title reign, and this one was at Survivor Series. Big Show beat Triple H and The Rock in a triple threat match, and Show was a replacement for Austin, who had been run over by a car during an unknown driver incident. What in the world? Like, I'm talking about, they would do anything during this time, as we know. And Austin is apparently getting his get back for this, because he done hopped on and started punching the smoke at this man, and he stuns Big Show's big butt. Have a nice day, Show. Who, if you know who ran me over, let me doggone know. Appreciate it. Triple H is back though with his third title reign. As you see, the game is racking them up. Now, Trish became the first champion of the 21st century when he defeated the Big Show thanks to a low blow and a distraction from DX. And this is Triple H's first true run. This reign lasted for 118 days, and y'all, what I told y'all, I told him we was coming back for it. I done flicked this man off. Why he getting finna get ready to spit this water? Spit this water, Triple H. Spit this water. Come on. I'm waiting for you. What's good? Did he spit the water on me? You see now I started beating his butt. This fool spit water in my face. What is wrong with you? The Rock is here. Let me calm down. The Rock is here, y'all. The Rock said that he won his fourth WWE title over Triple H with Shane McMahon as a special guest referee, and it literally only lasted 3 weeks. Why? Because Triple H was back at Judgment Day for his fourth reign. He beat The Rock 6-5 in an epic Iron Man match with HBK as the special guest referee. Triple H won the decisive fall when a returning Undertaker beat the smoke out of everybody with the last name McMahon and anybody with black and green on. That is DX. Anybody who fit the description of anything I just said, he punched them in the face as hard as he could. So then The Rock took that. The Rock also got DQ'd because of Undertaker's interference. But The Rock took that. He said, okay, and we back at King of the Ring, and a 6-man tag team match with Kane, The Rock, and The Undertaker versus Triple H, Shane McMahon, and Vince McMahon. And the stipulation was, if anybody on The Rock's team won, they would get the WWE title depending on whoever got the pinfall. So if anybody on that team pinned anybody, they would get it. And The Rock pinned Vince to get Triple H's title. So he ended up champion. Next, though, we have a debut. This is Kurt Angle. And this came at No Mercy. Angle's first title came after a win over The Rock in a no DQ match where Rikishi tried to help after previously being battered by the Rattlesnake himself, but that backfired against him, and Kurt Angle ended up getting the dub. And did this fool just try to tap me out in the middle of the street? Fool, he done lost his mind. They starting to get feisty. This dude literally put me in a sleeper hole in the middle of the ramp. I seen that fan start cheering, so I had to give him the bird. But Stone Cold delivers yet another stunner to Kurt Angle for being just straight disrespectful. The Rock is back, though. The Rock was dominant in these years. I mean, I'm talking about Rock is already on his 6th title reign, and this one is at No Way Out in 2001. Rock gets revenge on Kurt Angle and becomes the first man to win the WWE and WWE. No, it's one of them. The WWE, WWF, WWF, all that title 6 different times. He set the record, so I believe he passed Hulk Hogan for that, and also Bret Hart. So in celebration, we beat your butt in the spotlight. Everybody look at him. He done set a record. Good job, Rocky. Stone Cold's back though for his 5th title reign, and this one was at WrestleMania 17. This one he defeated Rocky in a no DQ match, and this one was lengthy for Stone Cold. Stone Cold comes back in 2001 and has the title for 175 days, but afterwards he hands it to Kurt Angle. He won this WWE title in his hometown of Pittsburgh, and he made the Rattlesnake tap out. That don't happen. We talking about the same dude who passed out / bled out from a sharpshooter because he refused to tap. Talk about putting somebody over. But speaking of the Rattlesnake, he's back for his 6th reign, and he gets it on Raw. Stone Cold won his 6th title with the help of WWE Commissioner William Regal, who knocked Angle down with the belt itself. And this reign lasted for 62 days, and this happened to also be the Rattlesnake's final run with the WWE Championship. Next up, though, we have Chris Jericho making his debut in the video. Jericho became the first ever undisputed champion after defeating The Rock earlier in the pay-per-view and knocking off Stone Cold in the main event. And this title reign lasted 98 days. What a moment for Chris Jericho. I mean, they had him do everything, but they definitely did everything to make sure it happened, y'all. I went back and watched this. The amount of people I seen help this man, I'm talking about, it was me, your mama, everybody, auntie, my uncle, Triple H, Adam Cole. I mean, everybody was out there to help Chris Jericho in both of them, especially the last match. I'm talking about, like, I ain't never seen so many people help one person. I think I could have knocked off Stone Cold and The Rock if, like, everything went the same way the script was written crazy that day. He had to win. But Triple H gets his 5th reign at WrestleMania 18. He dethroned Jericho, battling through a leg entry to become the undisputed champion. Though this reign only lasted 35 days, it was a really cool way for the game to capture the title. We're back though. We watching him spit water. What we gonna do this time? What y'all think? I'm just let y'all. He spit water in my face again. So actually he didn't spit it in my face. I kicked it out, but nothing's my fault. It's never my fault. So I kicked the water out of his mouth and stunned him. It's really fun toying with Triple H. But Hollywood Hulk Hogan is back. Actually, he's not back. Hulk Hogan's back, but just now he Hollywood, I guess. Hogan won his 6th title, defeating Triple H in a match that was disrupted by Chris Jericho and The Undertaker. But Hulk Hogan overcame the odds, even though some of them helped him. But then the odds that was, he beat up the odds. So it was weird because like they was both kind of faces, but then they wasn't. So he just beat up everybody that he saw. Undertaker didn't like that, so then he came for his 4th title reign at Judgment Day. Yeah, Undertaker took the Undisputed Championship from Hogan with help from Vince McMahon, and he just took it away from him because he said, you didn't want my help, so I'm gonna come take it from you. Learn better next time. This lasted 63 days, and he really just tried to tombstone the Rattlesnake. Do you know what happens when you try to tombstone the Rattlesnake? You just made the list. No, you didn't really make no list. You've been on the list. This is your 4th time on it. You get stunned for the 4th time. Thank you for your time. The Rock is here for his 7th title reign, though, and we ain't wasting no time. We just gonna come out and take it. The Rock took the title in a triple threat match that included Kurt Angle, and this reign lasted 35 days. We just stunned Rock as soon as he came on outside. We didn't want to waste no time. Rock, you come outside, you get stunned. I feel like you know the drill by now. But another debut, the next big thing, Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam in 2002. Brock Lesnar beat The Rock, and due to the brand split, Lesnar took the title to SmackDown, and this run lasted for 84 days. But we coming up at the smoke on that boy. Look at running clothesline. We ain't scared of the beast. He ain't even the beast yet. He just the next big thing. So while you a little boy, we finna beat you up. Get up, Brock. Get up, Brock. Slapped him in his back. Brock was also one of the most impressive athletes in sports entertainment, and he still is at this time. I mean, the stuff that dude was doing was unspeakable. We'll get into some more of it later. But next we have the Big Show, and he starts this reign at Survivor Series. The Big Show beat Lesnar for the title after Paul Heyman turned on his very own clients while Brock was pinning Big Show. Brock literally picked up the Big Show for an F5'd him, and Paul Heyman pulls the ref out and steals on the ref and turns on his client. Sad day. But Brock, of course, ended up getting it back later, but not before Kurt Angle got his 3rd reign at Armageddon. Angle dethroned Big Show when Lesnar returned to attack him in revenge for what happened at Survivor Series, and Angle's reign lasted for 105 days this time, and we beat the smoke out of Angle. Look, Angle ain't got no hair no more. This is around what time it was, so he put this little thing on his head. We beating the smoke out of it with the wrestling gear on his head, stomping mud holes, stomping just a lot of mud holes. I can't tell you how many times I stomped this dude in his torso area. I don't think he's okay. I thought about not even stunning him, but that's not how this goes. Now is it? Is it, Kurt? You know how this goes. Get your butt up, Kurt. I almost let you off easy. Have a nice day, Kurt. I appreciate all your time. Brock is back, though, like I told y'all he would be. At WrestleMania 19, this is the match when Brock knocked himself out with a botched shooting star press, and he still regained the title and kicked off his 2nd run, and this reign lasted for 119 days, and that just was very impressive. One, because you ever seen somebody messed up and it still looked great? Brock floated through the air like some type of bulky unicorn. He did land on his face, but it still looked really cool. And then he got up, finished the match. You know, Kurt Angle and him talked a little bit on, on some real stuff. He got up and he F5 Kurt, and he won. It was great. Kurt got it back, though, at Vengeance. For his 4th title reign, Kurt will regain the title, starting his 4th run in a triple threat battle with Lesnar and the Big Show. And this reign for Kurt lasted for 51 days. And Kurt is back, like he ain't getting no hair back again. So every time y'all see Kurt from now on, if y'all see Kurt again, he ain't gonna have no hair. He also ain't gonna be able to get up much more. I feel like I done stunned him a lot. He is people that's been stunned more than him, but some about stunning him is just hitting different. Yeah, I really like it. Brock Lesnar is back for his 3rd reign, though, in 2003, and he got this one at SmackDown. Lesnar closed out his feud with Angle in a 60-minute Iron Man match, which Brock ended up winning 5-4. And now Brock is getting beat up very badly by the Rattlesnake. Get up, just one more time, just for the one time. I appreciate you. Rattlesnake says have a good day. Everybody enjoyed that. Look at all the friends, they jumping. Here we go, though. Latino Heat. Eddie Guerrero making his debut, his first title reign, and this was at No Way Out. And before this, Eddie dropped one of the most ill promos that I've ever seen. It was so real, and that's what made it really dope. Eddie had his only run as WWE champion after defeating Lesnar, and of course they had to give him some love for it. They let him reign for 133 days. That dude was so talented. Everybody knows, though. R.I.P. Eddie Guerrero as he takes these stunners. It's a tribute. I promise. I promise. Another stunner for Eddie, though. Just one more. He tried to grab my foot, and I didn't particularly like that. You know, don't do that. Don't get out your body. JBL is here, though. John Bradshaw Layfield gets his first title reign, and he beat Eddie Guerrero in a Texas bull rope match. JBL was badly bloody in the bout. And this reign lasted for almost a year, guys. 280 days JBL had the title. One of the longer reigns in history by this point. People just weren't reigning that long. Here comes Stone Cold, though, and he just stunned him in the money. He kicked the fool's hat off and stunned him in the money, then told him to get up again. It ain't even no more money. He stunned the money away. How did that even work? The money just dissolved. But, guys, this is a guy who I think we all know. John Cena makes his debut in the series. We were all waiting for it. John Cena gets his first title reign at WrestleMania 21. And John Cena's first title marked the beginning of a new era, and the WWE title landed on Raw. Cena's first reign was a long one at 280 days for his very first reign, which happened to be identical to JBL, but they knew they had the truth in this dude. His first reign, he almost went a year. That's crazy. But here comes another legend in the rated R superstar. I call this fool a superstar. Sometimes he look like a superstar. You a superstar, Edge. You a freaking superstar. But the rated R superstar Edge makes his debut, and his first title win ignited a bitter but legendary feud with John Cena. It's one of my favorite feuds to go back and watch. I very much enjoy myself every single time I see it. The rated R superstar is outside, though, so Stone Cold goes outside and he fighting back. Y'all know Stone Cold don't like when you fight back. You usually suffer more when you fight back. Thus is why he got stunned outside. John Cena is back, though, for his second reign, and this one was at Royal Rumble. John Cena regained the title, making Edge tap out. He AA'd him and then proceeded to turn and make him tap. Edge is the tappingest legend ever. I'm talking about, y'all gonna find a lot of stuff where that fool is in agony. The rated R superstar was in agony a lot, pulling the smoke out his beard. He looked like, when Edge do agony crazier than anybody I ever seen. I really be thinking he need help when he come in here, though. RVD gets his first title reign, though, and this is when John Cena visits a hostile crowd at ECW One Night Stand. They's hearing all kinds of stuff, saying the fool can't wrestle and all that stuff. But due to an outside interference from Edge in a no DQ match, RVD was able to pick up the victory, but he only had it for 22 days because afterwards, Edge came back on Raw and defeated RVD for it. This title reign lasted only 76 days, but it was still cool, you know, and RVD winning that title was kind of cool, but we needed it back in pure WWE hands. Stone Cold didn't like it either. Did y'all see that meme? He ain't looked at nobody like that. God, dog, dude, he thinking about something I wasn't thinking about. He was very upset about that. He held his hand up and then went and dropped the elbow on him afterwards. John Cena is back for yet another title reign, though, and this was a TLC match, and had Cena lost, he would have been forced to leave the brand. Quite the unforgiving stipulation at the pay-per-view Unforgiven, but big match John stepped up and won and had the title for over a year at 380 days. This is when that dude started coming. But no matter, John Cena takes a stunner again. Next up, we have Randy Orton. And Orton wins his first title, which was awarded to him by Vince McMahon when Cena vacated the title due to an injury. The reign was actually less than a day, and you guys will see why shortly. But before we see that, y'all know what we got to do. And this was, in the Legend Killer Randy, sometimes people, say that this is the best gimmick he's ever had. I personally think it's the Viper, and but when he came bald head early Viper, but we'll talk about a little bit more about that later. Next up, we have the game, though, and the reason why Randy had it for 1 day is because in a wild night and No Mercy, Triple H won the title from Orton when Vince allowed him to make a challenge on the spot. But Triple H had it just momentarily too. He gets stunned again. Triple H done been stunned a lot. This was also Triple H's 6th reign. He was very, very decorated by this time. But Randy Orton is back again, and then after losing to Triple H earlier, Vince allowed him an immediate rematch clause, and he wins the title again in a last man standing match. Stone Cold just creeps up on him this time. But Randy fighting back. Hold on, did he get mad? To be honest, Stone Cold was considering, I'm telling y'all what he was thinking about. He was considering not even stunning him. He was trying to figure out how in the world would that all happen, how that all went down. He ain't getting no extra rematch clauses after losing, but maybe that's why Stone Cold got angry. Randy didn't want to make no friends, so Stone Cold said, forget you. Stuns him in the middle of the street. Triple H's 7th title, though, and no, this was not at the same night. He won this in a fatal 4-way match, and it was regular. Everybody's starting to fight back now. I think Evolution members have something against Stone Cold because all of them are putting up the most fight. Nonetheless, Stone Cold reverses on a stunner in the middle of the street again. He take that with you, too. Take that with you, because he got to get a double axe handle drop because he's doing a little much. But Edge is back for his 3rd reign, and he got this at Survivor Series. The Rated R Superstar ended up being a replacement for Vladimir Kozlov. Vladimir Kozlov was in the match, but he ended up being a replacement for Jeff Hardy, and it was a triple threat match against Kozlov and Triple H. And Edge came out on top, and this reign lasted 21 days, and this had to be one of Stone Cold's best. This fool waited for him to do the iconic pyro pose and just crept up behind him and started beating the smoke out of him in his doggone jacket, threw him off the stage and stunned him. That was simply disrespectful. Jeff Hardy, though, gets his first. The Charismatic Enigma won his first WWE title and his only WWE title with a win in a triple threat match against Edge and Triple H. And they gave him a little bit of time, more time than you may have thought when you realize how short reigns a lot of these guys have gotten. He got a whole month. They gave us one for a whole month, 42 days, and Stone Cold just healed the smoke out of him, though. He hit him with a signature heel move, act like he was running around, turned around and clocked him, except this one was the Stone Cold Stunner. At the Royal Rumble, though, Edge gets his 4th, and he beat Jeff Hardy in a no disqualification match. And now Stone Cold don't waste no time. He didn't even let the pyro go off. He just bulldogged the smoke out of the Rated R Superstar, and the Rated R Superstar lays out in the middle of the doggone galaxy. You see that? It's bad. It's bad, Edge. Triple H is back for his 8th title reign, and Stone Cold says, let's celebrate. You're going through the table, and after you go through the table, I'm gonna pick you right back up and stun you on the ruins of the table. Welcome to more stunners trips. It's great. Randy Orton is back for his 3rd reign, though, and he got this at Backlash. His 3rd title reign came in a 6-man tag match with Legacy against Batista, Triple H, and Shane, and Orton pinned Triple H, which won him the title, and this reign lasted him 42 days, and Randy is no longer that guy that we knew. He was no longer the Legend Killer. He no longer even had as much hair as he had before. He was the Viper. But the Viper takes his L to Batista's first WWE Championship run, and he gets this at a steel cage match against Orton, which was a fantastic match. Now, what's crazy is, well, one, the Animal had already had a bunch of titles already, but they were just World Heavyweight Championships. The other crazy thing is, Batista only had the title for 2 days. You guys will see why shortly, but first, Stone Cold has to talk to him about it. Does he pass the session? No. And Batista put up quite the fight too, y'all. Batista bombed Stone Cold 3 times. Stone Cold's just him, though. So he gets back up and he reverses the 4th one. Gets him a little stun. But Orton gets it back on Raw. Batista was forced to vacate the title just after 2 days, though, and Orton won it back in a fatal 4-way match. Randy faced off against Triple H, Big Show, and John Cena and came up victorious for a 90-day run. It was a pretty good run for Randy, and he was solidifying himself. He was already, built up to be one of the best to ever do this, but it was really coming into fruition. John Cena gets his 4th title reign at breaking point, though, and at the apex of the Cena-Orton feud, he wins an I Quit match against Orton, and any outside interference that came on Orton's behalf would have costed him the title, because there was a bunch of dirty things happening throughout the feud. So they wanted to make sure that didn't happen, and Cena secured yet another world championship. But Orton comes back at Hell in a Cell, and this is actually the one that is in the 2K showcase, and he defeats John Cena in this Hell in a Cell match, which, by the way, was a pretty good match, I might add. And Orton held this title for 21 days afterwards. Stone Cold done ran up on Orton's back so many times. I think he tired of the Viper. I don't think it impresses him at all. He done threw this fool on the floor a lot. John Cena is back for his 5th title reign against one of his greatest rivals in Randy Orton, and this reign lasted for 49 days. It happened at bragging rights, and this time Stone Cold takes him off of a steel cage and tells him to get up, and y'all know what's coming next. A big stunner for Mr. Hustle, loyalty, and respect. There was no respect in anything that Stone Cold has done over the past nearly an hour, but Steve Austin doesn't care. Sheamus' first title reign comes, though. Welcome to the video, Sheamus. First title reign comes at TLC. The Celtic Warrior breaks through with his first title, and it was a win against John Cena in a tables match. This reign lasted for 70 days, so for a lot of the first title reigns that we have seen, it is one of the long ones. They gave him some respect and love pretty early. So Stone Cold still stuns him right in the outside, and I really did love this red attire that Sheamus had on at this time. Red's my favorite color, so it might be a little biased, but it was just really clean, and so it was dope. But John Cena is here for his 6th reign, and this one happened at Elimination Chamber, but John had this for a very short amount of time, and you guys will see why. But in the meantime, John Cena gets stunned, and I swear John Cena got a real sturdy hat, because he been getting beat up in his hat and it ain't left his head yet. But Batista is here, and this is the reason why John Cena's reign was short. Right after John Cena won that Elimination Chamber match, Vince McMahon immediately brought out Batista to destroy and capitalize on a battered John Cena, and of course he beat him. It was almost like a Money in the Bank cash in, but he did not cash in. Vince said, "Come on out here, you are WWE champion, of course, if you can beat this man." And he didn't beat him because all odds were stacked against him. But John Cena comes back at WrestleMania 26, and he got his revenge against the Animal to get his 7th reign with the WWE title, and this one lasted 84 days for John Cena. Stone Cold is in the corner telling him to get up like Edge, though he playing with people now. Stunner for Cena again. Cena receives his 7+ stunner. Sheamus is here for his second fatal 4-way. He's had a couple fatal 4-ways. I think he's been in a couple 4-ways that were fatal, but no, his second title. And it don't exist no more. They did the fatal 4-way pay-per-view, and I guess it just didn't stick, so they didn't keep doing it. But Sheamus did get the job done in a fatal 4-way match nonetheless. But Randy Orton comes back for his 5th title reign at Hell in a Cell. He would get his revenge in the defeat of John Cena for his 5th championship. And this time Stone Cold just wanted his attention, but he wasn't finna let him beat him up in the aisleway no more. And he stuns him in the middle of the street, right next to the Galaxy barricades. He done stunned this boy all over the galaxy. He's gonna send this fool into the multiverse in a minute. The Miz is here for his 1st title reign, though. The Miz shocked the world, winning his 1st title by cashing in his Money in the Bank on Randy Orton on Raw. And this reign lasted for 160 days for the A-lister. That is quite remarkable for a first reign and for the Miz, because they let him go for that long. So the Miz definitely gets the job done. As you see, this is what he had on when he did it too. I'm telling you, that all red stuff clean. They need to pull it out for a couple more people, because that all red stuff is definitely clean. John Cena is here, and I don't think anybody's surprised. For the 8th time at Extreme Rules, Cena overcame The Miz and Morrison in a triple threat steel cage match to win his 8th title, and this reign lasted 77 days for him. Stone Cold coming right down the ramp, don't wasting no time, and John Cena's magnetic hat is still by no surprise on his head after getting slapped in the back of his head. All my experience in slapping people in the heads with hats on, the hat came off when I slapped them. I actually haven't done that, just so y'all know, but I'm assuming I've seen it and the hat flew off. Anyway, CM Punk is here, and he got this first title at Money in the Bank. This is his debut of the series. Of course, we was all waiting on Punk. One of the most iconic performances in WWE history. Punk beat Cena in Chicago, and in the storyline, he left with the title. Literally just left WWE with the title. He went out through the barricades and everybody's looking at him like, where you going? Don't worry about what I'm doing. Worry about what you doing. And for it, the WWE guy, Stone Cold is definitely a WWE guy, smoked him in the middle of the galaxy, and he left him laying there. He smoked him for a second too, but booyaka booyaka. Rey Mysterio is here for the first time in this. This is his first WWE Championship, and following Punk's departure, Mysterio beat The Miz in the finals of a tournament that would crown a champion, but his reign was quite short-lived, but it's okay. Rey Mysterio, while he only did win one WWE Championship, as we know, Rey has done more than enough to solidify himself as a beyond first ballot Hall of Famer for a plethora of reasons. Not to mention, Rey also has World Heavyweight Championships and other championships under his belt. So him only having one WWE Championship is not an issue whatsoever. But as I say, Stone Cold does not care. As you see, when his entrance gets over, you slip and he can stomped on repeatedly, then stunned, then flicked off. It's just bad. John Cena again. I know, guys. He back again for the 9th time, and he got this one on Raw. Cena got an immediate shot at Mysterio because Punk had beaten him for the title, and Cena gets it back again. To no one's surprise. Stone Cold look tired of this. You see he moving slower now every time he see John. Don't nobody want to see you for a second, John. Hold another stunner. He talking to the people. He asking them. I know y'all is tired of the man. Punk has returned though, and this is actually technically the same way. Punk defeated Cena at SummerSlam to regain the title that he really never lost. So, but he still fought Cena and beat him again to just, solidify his reign. But WWE did view this as a continuous reign, and they didn't knock him for it. But it didn't last that long because Alberto Del Rio came and cashed in his Money in the Bank contract on CM Punk after the match with Cena to start his first WWE title reign, and he got a pretty healthy reign with it too. Stone Cold comes, and I'm talking about if you got an accessory on, they stay on tight. Stone Cold just clothesline from hell this man, and his scarf is still on his neck. That scarf loved Alberto. John Cena is here again, the first guy to 10 WWE championships, and that excludes his World Heavyweight Championships, because we know Cena is a 17-time world champion, but this was his 10th WWE Championship, and he captured this to no one's surprise. Still, Stone Cold beating the smoke out of him yet again. I don't even think John want to fight no more. John got back up and just walked past him. He tried to see if he could slip by. Of course he didn't. Stone Cold don't let things like that happen. But Del Rio was back, and he came out on top in a triple threat match involving John Cena and CM Punk. He beat them convincingly and clean. So, they was definitely giving Del Rio the love. Del Rio won multiple WWE championships and the World Heavyweight Championship. So this was definitely the prime of his career, and he was coming into his own as a competitor. CM Punk comes for his second title reign though at Money in the Bank. Punk beat Del Rio via submission with a bad left shoulder. It was cool how they did it too, because it made it where he could not use the GTS. He would go for it sometimes and his shoulder would just give out. So plan B was the Anaconda Vice, and that ended up working out for him. Meanwhile, Stone Cold just punched CM Punk into an imaginary wall. He was beating that fool so bad he called for help for things that weren't even present. That's not normal. The Rock is here though. The Rock is back. The Rock had returned at Survivor Series in 2011. He battled through Cena at WrestleMania. Punk had won it first, but Vince restarted the match because of the Shield's interference, and The Rock won his 8th title, and he reigned for 70 days. Stone Cold came from the back though, out from somewhere outside. You can't even see him right now. The Rock does his signature pose, and Stone Cold, he respects The Rock. No, never. Not really. He just flicked off the crowd while he was doing this thing. He's waiting on him disrespectfully. I didn't even know you could really do that. He still, The Rock done had his eyebrow raised for a minute. He still don't really know what's going on. He seen him. He said, hold on, we need a break. As soon as he got up in the ring, Stone Cold stunned this fool out of his misery. That might be one of the most disrespectful ones that has happened so far. What y'all think? John Cena's here for his 11th reign, though. Cena got his revenge on The Rock as he won the championship for the 11th time. Needless to say, nobody has won the WWE championship 11 times. Nobody. It still hasn't happened to this day. So, not 11. But Cena secures another title victory, but this time he is beat by Daniel Bryan. Yes. For Daniel Bryan's first title run, and it is at SummerSlam. Daniel Bryan finally overcame the odds as he defeated Cena for the title with Triple H as special guest referee. However, it set up one of the most epic moments in pay-per-view history, in my opinion. The game ended up double-crossing him during Bryan's confetti celebration and pedigreed him in the middle of the ring, and all of a sudden Randy Orton's music hit, which you guys will see in a second. First, he got to take this stunner though. He took a different stunner. That ain't even how Stone Cold regularly stunned people. He took a different one. But Randy Orton came, his music hits, and he took the belt off of Daniel Bryan in one of the filthiest cashes in history. And his reign lasted not very long, actually, despite the sheer awesomeness of what he did. He actually started this stun laid out in the middle of the floor. You see, his face was all in the galaxy. He was immersed in it right when it cut. But that didn't mean that he already got stunned. That just mean I wasn't ready to stun him. See, Randy wasn't even ready to get stunned. He just pushed him off. That don't mean nothing though. I'm beating people so bad at this point, they keep bumping into things that ain't even there. Another stunner for Randy Orton though. Daniel Bryan is back at Night of Champions though, but then Bryan still had some tough luck. He beat Randy Orton, but was not able to keep the title due to a controversial ending, and the ending got reversed and it just vacated the title. So it didn't go back to anybody, but they just vacated it and they had to do something else with it. So Bryan didn't even get to keep his title for really even a full 24 hours. So Randy Orton comes back for his 8th title reign, and he gets it at Hell in a Cell. Orton beat Bryan in a Hell in a Cell match with Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee, and this would be Orton's longest reign. His longest reign was 161 days for the Viper. The Viper has been stunned plenty of times all throughout this run though. He really deserves it. I respect him for continuously taking these. Daniel Bryan's 3rd title reign though comes at WrestleMania 30, closing out one of the biggest feuds of the decade. Bryan won the title for a 3rd time in a triple threat match with Orton and Batista. Unfortunately again for Bryan, this time he'd had to vacate the title because of an injury, so he only held it for 64 days, and they probably would have had him have a pretty lengthy run because, you know, they closing out the feud and say, all right, Daniel, it's yours, no more bad luck and all that. But this time John Cena comes back for his 12th run. He won an 8-man ladder match for the vacant title over Del Rio, Kane, Bray Wyatt, Cesaro, Randy Orton, the Big Dog Roman Reigns, and the Celtic Warrior Sheamus. Any name you can think of was in that match. And of course, Big Match John came out on top and was stunned again, and this time in his little red shirt. Stone Cold has seen John in his whole career. We might as well go stun the Prototype at this point. I mean, God, dog. Brock Lesnar is back in the WWE though, and at SummerSlam, we got to see one of the most lopsided title victories you will ever see, and it came against John Cena. This was the birth of Suplex City, and Brock was a new kind of dominant this time. I remember watching it as a kid, and I was just like, they not really gonna let this happen to my guy, right? But they did. He suplexed him anywhere you could think to be suplexed. Seth Rollins comes, and this was arguably the greatest cash-in ever for Seth's first ever WWE Championship. He came through at WrestleMania, swooped in, ran down that humongous ramp, and cashed in on technically Brock Lesnar, but he interrupted a match between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns and ended up beating them. He looked like he was going to get F5, but then Roman speared him, and he curb stomped the man that was on his knees and got the pinfall victory to secure that belt. But the big dog gets his first title at Survivor Series. Roman Reigns defeated Dean Ambrose in the tournament final to win the title, but was the victim of a Money in the Bank cash in, so the reign was only a day long. You guys will see what happened with that shortly. But this is not the Roman Reigns we know yet. This is Roman Reigns as the big dog, as the face, and he was coming up. And I thought he was already at a peak until he became this monster that he is now. But we'll see him in a couple years. But for right now, we see the Celtic Warrior Sheamus. Sheamus had took advantage of Roman Reigns, who had just beat Ambrose to win his third title. And this reign was only 22 days long, but it was still a pretty solid cash in. Took advantage of the big dog, swooped in, got the belt. Quite optimistic of you, Sheamus. Hold this real quick though. Just bow. One more time. Bow. Thank you. Come again, Sheamus. Look at Roman Empire with the bounce pack though for his second title reign, and this one he got it on Raw. Man, I can't talk. Roman Reigns won this title versus Sheamus on Raw, but during this time he was in the midst of one of the more bitter feuds of the modern era against the Authority. And speaking of the Authority, the leader of the Authority beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania Triple H for his ninth WWE Championship. This was the Royal Rumble match in which Roman Reigns defended the title and entered at number 1. Triple H eliminated, and after doing that, he eliminated the lunatic fringe Dean Ambrose to secure the WWE title, and one of the most unfair stipulations you could possibly think of. Reigns entered at 1, and if he didn't win the Rumble, he was going to lose the entire championship. The Authority really had all the odds stacked against him, but the big dog is back again at WrestleMania 32. The Authority versus the big dog storyline nears its end, and Roman Reigns came out on top and ended up having a 77-day reign after this. He beat Triple H for the belt at WrestleMania 32, and he also just suffered another stunner. The Architect is here again though for his second reign, and Seth defeated Roman Reigns in an eventful match but lost it quickly in spectacular fashion. You guys will see how shortly, because this reign lasted less than a day for the Architect. Stone Cold says, "Get up, Seth." Can you do that for him? You can, just like everyone else. Beautiful. But here is the man who caused this reign to last not for a very long time. Dean Ambrose cashed in this contract, his Money in the Bank contract to be specific, and beat Seth Rollins for the championship. And this reign for him lasted 84 days. And after he beat him, the WWE Championship was actually named the WWE World Championship, not the WWE Championship. Huge difference, isn't it? So, it's technically a different belt, but it's what it is. But now the phenomenal AJ Styles makes his debut in this series, and he actually hadn't been in WWE for that long, and captures his first WWE title in December of 2016. The title's name actually reverted back to the WWE Championship though, and this reign lasted 140. It was great to see the superstar that he is, the wrestler that he is in the WWE, and this was his first huge bit of success. Also, his first title, and AJ was like that to the point where, yes, my first title can be the WWE Championship, needless to say. But the man is back, and this is his final WWE Championship, believe it or not. Happy and sad feelings for John Cena. At Royal Rumble, he defeated AJ Styles in a spectacular match, and it's underrated because John's bag got deeper and deeper the older he got. His in-ring bag I was talking about got literally deeper and deeper the older he got. While he only had this for 2 weeks, it was still very impressive, the show he was able to put on for everybody in his final WWE Championship win. Bray Wyatt comes, though, the Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt at this time, at Elimination Chamber. This was an Elimination Chamber match that also involved AJ Styles, Baron Corbin, Dean Ambrose, and The Miz, and of course John Cena. This reign lasted for 49 days, and the Eater of Worlds captured it in a pretty fun Hell in a Cell match. This was when they handed it to Bray and said, yes, it's your time. It's time for you to go. Bray literally had took over the WWE almost and was the villain. I'm talking about the guy, the peak of the Fireflies, the peak of the Wyatt family. He had it all in his hands, no pun intended. Randy Orton's 9th title win, though, becomes at WrestleMania 33 against Bray Wyatt, and this was pretty much the end of the Wyatt family versus Randy Orton feud. Randy Orton did join the Wyatt family momentarily, but he broke up with them, and then he beat the leader for the belt. All works out for Randy. But here comes the modern day Maharaja, Jinder Mahal, and this was quite unexpected by most. And it is believed that Mahal's title reign was due to they were trying to build an audience in India. So this was all during the time where they was like trying to secure the greatest Royal Rumble, Clash at the Castle, Crown Jewel, and all that. So it was believed that this was fed to Jinder, fed to really India, to satisfy them to further solidify that deal. Business decision. AJ Styles comes for his second reign, though, in SmackDown, and there was, I mean, the win was just really clean. I mean, the title just changed hands. There wasn't nothing special that happened. AJ just beat him with a regular phenomenal forearm, and AJ's title reign was 371 days after that. Daniel Bryan is back, though, and to everyone's surprise, Daniel Bryan actually turned heel to win this match. And the way he won it is that the referee was incapacitated, and Daniel Bryan actually low-blowed AJ Styles, which was completely out of character for him for his whole career, and he won the WWE Championship. But Kofi Mania arrives, and Kofi Kingston beats Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania to kick off that whole era of his career, and this reign lasted for 180 days. Now, Kofi did lose this very unfortunately, despite the pretty lengthy reign, and you guys will see how in a second. For right now, he has to answer to Stone Cold Steve Austin, though, and that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. Coming up next, though, we have the man who pretty much disrespectfully ended Kofi Kingston's reign. Brock Lesnar beat Kofi Kingston and squashed him in, like, y'all, I'm talking about, was it 8 seconds? It was very short. He just walked up to him, F5'd him, and the match was over. So you let Kofi go on Kofi Mania, and you let him dominate for all the time. Well, not dominate, but he had a successful run. He was champion for 180 days. And then he gets squashed on SmackDown. Wow. It is what it is. What we gonna do? But Drew McIntyre gets his first title reign, and this was during the pandemic, so they taped it, and it was a tape delay, but Drew McIntyre later came back and confirmed that the actual day that this happened on, because that was something that was being wondered about. WWE recognized this reign as beginning on April 5th because of the tape delay. But McIntyre did secure his first WWE Championship, and this is from, I'm talking about, quite the transformation. We went to the Chosen One some time away, then 3MB, and then back to the monster that we know him as right now. Randy Orton comes, and for his 10th WWE Championship, he wins at Hell in a Cell, and this was a Hell in a Cell match versus McIntyre, and this reign lasted 22 days for the Viper. The Viper actually, if you guys notice, doesn't have any of those crazy super long reigns, but Randy has definitely won them a lot. Both belts, whatever belt that you can think of, Randy has had it. The longest reign he has was, what we learned, was 161 days earlier, but Randy definitely does secure them. McIntyre's second reign comes again. He beats Randy in a no disqualification and no countout match, and this reign for McIntyre lasted 97 days. The problem with Drew is that sometimes some of this stuff is kind of forgotten or hard to remember because unfortunately it happened during the pandemic, so it just kind of slips our minds sometimes, at least mine's. But Drew he was in his bag during this time. The Miz comes back for a second reign though, which was pretty shocking. He cashed in his Money in the Bank contract and he had the title for 8 days, but I don't even care. I was just happy that The Miz was the champion again this late in his career, because The Miz is my dog, but he's not Stone Cold's dog because he just got his head snapped back. Bobby Lashley ain't Bobby Lashley's dog either. Bobby Lashley surrounded the ring with a whole bunch of people, aka a lumberjack match, so he can't go nowhere. He beat Miz in a lumberjack match and was the champion for 196 days afterwards. He pummeled him, as you guys can. I'm sure if Bobby Lashley was in the ring with the Miz, I'm pretty sure who we got our money on, especially in the lumberjack match. He ain't going nowhere, my boy. He gets stunned in the corner though. He didn't even lay him out in the Galaxy, not in the middle of the ring, or none of that, in the corner. But Big E comes in, another member of New Day. He cashed in his Money in the Bank contract, and Big E was transferred to the Raw brand after winning the title and had a pretty good reign on him. This reign lasted 110 days, so Big E secured the title and they gave him respect. It was nice. It was not nice for him in this video though, because this fool stood up on the table just to sit back down and go through it. And then afterwards, he took another move. He gets thrown into the other table. They just had to cut it. It was getting dangerous. They didn't even want to see what happened after that. But Brock Lesnar is here for his 6th reign, and this was at day 1. This was a fatal 5-way match involving Bobby Lashley, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and of course, Big E. Brock Lesnar came out on top on New Year's this day, and he had the title for 28 days afterwards. Stone Cold is fighting Brock again, and Brock seems to never, ever, ever win. Like ever. He flicks him off again, and he takes another stunner. The Almighty is back for his 2nd reign, and this happened at Royal Rumble. He beat Brock due to an interference from Roman Reigns, which was vital in the build of the Tribal Chief. He started getting the mannerisms and all that. Roman was about there. He was about there. He was still wearing like the needle mover shirt, but we knew that this was a different dude coming. And this later led to Roman fighting Brock some months later at WrestleMania. And we will get to that shortly because we know what the deal is with that. Brock Lesnar is still here though. Brock Lesnar wins his 7th WWE Championship at Elimination Chamber. This was an Elimination Chamber match also involving AJ Styles, Austin Theory, Riddle, and Seth Rollins, and of course Bobby Lashley. Lesnar came out on top, and it is always fun when Brock enters the Elimination Chamber. It's quite the moment whenever he gets out the pod or if he starts out. But now we are in the present, all the way at the end, guys. Acknowledge me. Roman Reigns wins a winner-take-all match against Brock Lesnar, in which he also defended the Universal Championship. And at the time this is being recorded, this reign has lasted 376 days, and of course it is and counting, because you just watched Raw or SmackDown and you heard that music hit again, and he had the same amount of championships as he had a year ago, didn't he? Yes, he did. But guys, I appreciate you guys for watching. If you rock with us this whole journey, you a real one. Certified platinum is how I describe you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow the channel for more content like this. Let me know what you guys thought. Who is your favorite WWE champion? What was your favorite reign, favorite era during all of this, favorite version of champions, people who won the championship? Just let me know, whatever. I appreciate you guys for watching. See y'all later, man.